You came to see me during your spare, a short amount of time you usually spend spiraling in huge thoughts. The people around you are not living up to what you might need. My mind keeps wondering, what makes a good friend for you? I try these words on in my mouth. I'm asking you, what makes a good friend? I see your mind moving behind your eyes. Your mouth makes the word time. I wonder why this answer comes from you. I'm thinking of the people who aren't here for long, of laying with a friend of mine on a mat on a Monday, watching him lift his feet above his eyes and block out the light shining down from us from the ceiling. My mouth can't help but catch his laugh. I lie down and try. I never would have known about this if it wasn't for his short amount of time. I'm thinking of my floppy little friend, whose muscles didn't tense enough to keep her upright, but whose mind knew that she loved to dance. I'm thinking of moving her little life-filled limbs along to the Lion King. How a little human who couldn't move taught so many people to dance in such a short amount of time. I'm thinking of how I rarely walk past a tree without touching its leaves, because of the way my friend who always took such deep breaths reached out and asked me to. How when you have so little time, you learn to reach out and touch everywhere you go. I'm laughing at myself, thinking of this urge he woke up inside of me to taste leaves. He explored the world so fully, it makes me want to also. I feel him laughing at me as I steal a nibble. My mind remembers pushing my pal down a slippery hallway and letting her go, crashing into mats we had set up together. I'm thinking of her convincing me to play this game by laughing at me and saying, "I'm already dying," reminding me to play with my whole heart and to not get bogged down by life's hardest realities. I'm thinking of the way a dapper dude liked to be pushed and spun and pulled in his decked-out wheelchair, sweat beating down my neck, finding pockets of energy I didn't know were there. When there's so little time, you just find the energy. I'm thinking of making little pipe cleaner family with a small leopard lion lady who missed her pride. Her telling me what colors each of them should be and directing me where to place them on her leopard printed pedestal. I'm thinking of all the minds whose mouths never make words, but whose thoughts are elaborate behind their eyes, coherent in their touch. I'm thinking of all the people around these wonderful weirdos. Like the sister who threw a chair at a classmate and who got asked not to come back. Who had her time here so drastically shaped by a sibling who had so little. Of a brother who stopped speaking because he's worried he's taking up too much space from a sibling whose life is so much shorter than his. The parents who quit their full-time jobs to take up full-time caregiving, who lost that too and are trying to remember how to care for themselves. I'm thinking of the foster parent who chose this, who chose to watch him die, and is doing so with so much grace. I'm thinking of the grandparent who is now a parent again to their grandchild while their child grieves. And the nurses who didn't want to work in a rigid setting and who are making their own rules and who are not sorry, who code switch from silly played buddy to medical professionals in seconds, and who deal with the deep sorrows and the deep joy and find lightness in between. I'm thinking of putting names in balloons of big people and small bodies who were here for important but small times, and watching them float up into the sky and feeling profoundly sad and hopeless and happy and peaceful all on top of each other. But really what I'm thinking is that you know all of these things. You know how such a short amount of time can mean so much. I'm thinking about your friend who did a drug she didn't mean to. We think she didn't mean to. You knew she was sad, very sad. You're not sure if she meant to. This is where your thoughts spiral during spare, how they keep you up at night. You can't sleep. You say your days are too long. You say you're longing for less time. This makes you feel selfish because her time was so short. You cut yourself mid-sentence, wondering if she felt the same. You knew she was sad. Not knowing the reality makes it harder, maybe. Or maybe it's just hard. You question the importance of your friendship. You didn't know her for long. You only met her in grade 9. But this is a really big time. A short time, but a big time. My mind keeps wondering what lessons you learned from her. I try these words on in my mouth. I'm asking you, what's something you loved about Jordan?